In December of 2016, Hong Kong hosted one of the world's most prestigious academic events, the Mathematical Olympiad. This global competition brought together hundreds of the brightest high school students, each representing their home countries in a battle of intellect and mathematics. Among the competitors was a team from North Korea, a nation known for its secrecy and isolation from the rest of the world. The 6 young men from North Korea stood out, not just because of their academic prowess, but because of the unique circumstances under which they were competing. Dressed in white shirts, black pants, and adorned with loyalty badges of the Kim family pinned on their chests, they stepped forward in unison. But one of them, Jong Yol-ri, couldn't shake the nervousness he felt deep within. While his teammates smiled confidently, Jong Yol appeared anxious, his mind far from the math problems in front of him. His thoughts were occupied by something far more pressing, his own freedom. Jong Yol-ri's story began in a small town in North Korea, a country where your social status and future prospects are often dictated by your family's history and political connection. Jong was fortunate enough to be born into a relatively privileged family, sparing him from the extreme hardships that many North Koreans faced. Families with ties to the regime or connections to those who fought against Japan during World War I were often rewarded with special privileges. His father, recognizing his son's potential, took an active role in ensuring that Jong received a solid education. Unlike many other children in North Korea who were forced into hard manual labor or military training, Jong had the rare opportunity to focus on academics, particularly mathematics. His early interest in numbers and patterns was evident from a young age. Each day before he was allowed to play, Jong's father would make him practice his multiplication tables, a daily routine that laid the groundwork for his later successes. When Jong was just 12 years old, his mathematical talent was officially recognized when he won a special prize in a national mathematics competition. He not only outperformed his peers, but also bested much older students. His remarkable achievement caught the attention of top education officials within the North Korean government, and it marked the beginning of his academic journey that would eventually lead him to the prestigious International Mathematical Olympiad, IMO. North Korea's education system is notoriously strict, with a heavy emphasis on loyalty to the regime alongside academic excellence. However, Jong's exceptional mathematical abilities allowed him to follow a rare educational path dedicated to the study of mathematics, something that very few students in North Korea had access to. As a result, he was granted access to a laptop loaded with mathematical software, a luxury in a country where access to technology is highly restricted. Despite the challenges of power outages and limited internet access, Jong managed to keep his laptop running by using a solar panel he had built himself and a gasoline-powered generator during the winter months. These early years of determination and self-reliance paid off when he was selected to represent North Korea at the International Mathematical Olympiad. Jong's journey to the IMO was not an easy one. North Korea placed immense pressure on its students to perform well in international competitions, not only for personal glory, but also to showcase the regime's success to the rest of the world. For Jong, the training was grueling. He spent countless hours solving complex problems with the help of top mathematicians within the country. But the training was about more than just academics. It was also designed to instill a deep sense of duty and loyalty to the North Korean regime. Jong's first trip abroad, to Colombia, for the 2015 IMO was a life-changing experience. It was his first time leaving North Korea, and everything was new to him: the bright lights of the cities, the sight of numerous cars, and a world that seemed so different from the isolated country he knew. Although the North Korean team ranked 5th overall, behind China, South Korea, the United States, and Russia, Jong's personal achievement, a silver medal, was a remarkable feat. However, it wasn't enough for the regime. They had invested a great deal in him, and Jong was expected to win gold. Standing on the stage in Colombia, Jong's mind was racing. He couldn't help but wonder why North Korea placed so much emphasis on students like him. Why were they investing so much into his education and training? What did the regime hope to achieve through students like him? These thoughts added to his anxiety as he prepared for what would come next. Jong's talent was not his own. It was something the regime had carefully cultivated, and they expected a return on that investment. It was clear to Jong that his path was being shaped by forces far beyond his control. The North Korean regime had invested heavily in his academic success, not because they cared about his personal growth, but because they saw him as a tool for their larger goals. Jong had been given the rare opportunity to study mathematics, but he knew that the regime had a much darker purpose in mind. His talents with numbers could be used for more than just solving equations. As Jong continued to rise through the ranks of the regime's favored students, he began to see the bigger picture. The North Korean government was building a team of highly skilled individuals, not just in mathematics, but also in areas like cyber warfare. Jong's mind turned to the laptop that had been given to him, a symbol of his special status. What was the regime's end goal? He couldn't shake the thought that one day he might be recruited to work in a much darker field, cyber warfare. In the wake of his success at the IMO, Jong's fears were confirmed. When he returned to North Korea after the 2015 competition, he learned that his friends and relatives had been interviewed by a secretive government agency. Jong realized that the regime was preparing to harness his talents for their cyber operations, a prospect that filled him with dread. To work as a hacker for the government would mean a life of complete control and isolation. Jong knew that the government would expect him to comply, and there would be no way out. He also knew that he had only a short window of opportunity to escape. His time as a competitor in the International Mathematical Olympiad was limited. He could attend one more competition before turning 18, after which he would be expected to join the ranks of the regime's cyber warriors. His chance to escape was slipping away, and Jong knew he had to act quickly. The 2016 International Mathematical Olympiad, held in Hong Kong, would be Jong's last chance to escape North Korea. During the competition, Jong found that he was not being closely monitored, and the teachers accompanying the team were on relatively friendly terms with him. It was the perfect opportunity to make a break for it. After winning another silver medal at the competition, Jong made his move. He slipped away from the dormitory where he was staying, hailed a taxi, and made his way to the airport. With the help of an airline worker, Jong managed to find the address of the South Korean consulate. He took another taxi there, and once inside, he explained his situation to a South Korean diplomat. He expressed his desire to defect and start a new life. Jong's decision was not without risks. If he were caught, the consequences would be severe, not just for him, but for his family as well. Defecting from North Korea was a dangerous endeavor, and the regime's strict policies made it nearly impossible to escape without facing repercussions. But Jong was willing to take that risk. For the next 70 days, Jong remained in Hong Kong, nervously awaiting the outcome of the negotiations between the South Korean government and the North Korean regime. After weeks of uncertainty, Jong was granted safe passage to Seoul, where he would start a new life, far from the oppressive regime he had once called home. After his defection, North Korea suspended its participation in the International Mathematical Olympiad for 2 years, and the government now sends a government agent to accompany its team members to ensure that no one else attempts to defect. Jong's escape had been a wake-up call for the regime, and they had tightened their control over the team's movements. Today, Jong is in his early 30s and goes by a South Korean name. He has pursued his passion for mathematics, studying at Seoul National University and living a life of relative freedom. However, despite his new life, Jong has not seen his parents since his defection. He remains haunted by the thought of what might have happened to them as a result of his escape. Jong's journey is a testament to the courage it takes to escape from one of the world's most repressive regimes. His story is not just about mathematics, but also about the struggle for freedom in a world where personal ambition can be overshadowed by the expectations and control of a totalitarian regime. Jong's escape from North Korea serves as a powerful reminder that the pursuit of knowledge can sometimes come at a great cost, and that the price of freedom is often higher than we can imagine.